So today we're going to learn about Css Box Model. All HTML elements are considered as boxes, and it only differs according to the style rules that are applied into it. In CSS Box Model, you can control the setting for the following properties. You can control the width, the padding, the margin, and the border. To give you a more clear overview about this CSS box model, let us watch this video. So let us have an example. Presume that we have in our HTML code, we have these three elements, HTML elements, paragraph, H2 and H3. So we have the content box 1 for the paragraph, and box 2 for H2, and box 3 for H3. So it is mentioned that CSS box model, elements, HTML elements are treated as a box. So if you're going to apply CSS or style rules, automatically it applies like a box, and you can manipulate the padding, the border, the width of that certain box, and also the margin setting. So let us try to apply the external style sheet of the given example. So let's start with the body tag. So presume that we have the background color gray, and also the margin is 20 px. Px means pixel. When you're going to write 20 px, that means to say that it's applicable in 4 sides of your screen. So it means to say that 20 px for the top, right, bottom, and left. Okay, so let's start with the first element, H1. So I'm going to show you how box appears in this example. So as mentioned earlier, that all the elements in HTML is considered to be like a box. And you can, in a box model, you can manipulate the setting for the padding, the border, and also the margin setting, or even the width of that specific box. So let's try the H1. Let's do first the width, background color, so that you could see the boundary of that certain box. For example, in H1, we're going to apply the background color with pink. So that's it. So the pink color is applied across that particular area. And then, example, we are going to apply the border. Let's say we have the border 5 px, meaning to say this is the thickness of the border, and then we try to use the solid border, and the color is black. So as you can see, H1 has already, the box of H1 has already been defined with a border px, 5 px, solid, and black setting. Now here, padding. Padding, as mentioned earlier, is the distance between the text to the border. So somewhere here. So this is your text, and we're going to put some distance between the text and to the border. Okay. For instance, our padding is 10 px. So as you can see, the text is centered, somewhat centered between left, the top, and the bottom, and there is a space of 10 pixels. So just like margin, when you are going to write 10px example, one setting only, it means it is applied to all sides of the box. But you might be noticed that at the right there is a big vacancy here. It doesn't mean that the 10px here is not being applied. It just so happened that our text here is too short. It doesn't reach to the right side of the border or of the box, so you cannot notice that it is really 10px applied in it. Then next we're going to manipulate the margin. The margin is a space between the box to the edge of your screen, or the edge of the screen. So for instance, our margin setting would be 20px. So automatically this space here has already the space here is 20px. That includes the top, left, and the bottom. But as you can see, there is no there's a big vacancy in the bottom because of the content of your HTML code. So you already have the setting for H1, so it's really very obvious that the style rules here that are applied in H1 are already obvious that it's already like a box. So that's how we are going to control the make CSS box model. What if you're going to apply the same setting for the paragraph or the box 1, for the paragraph tag or element, same setting with the H1, you can just simply put P and then write comma and then H1. So as you can see, they have the same setting except for the text inside the box. Now let's try to set the H2. Okay, for instance, our background color would be, let's say we wanted to have a yellow background. And the border would be, let's say we have 12px. It's thicker than the previous one. And we have the dashed value, this type of border, and also the color would be different, like blue or something. That's it. So this one is a separate box, the other one is a separate box, but it inherits the same style rule as of this one, and the other one for H2, which is the box 2, have different style. So as you can see, it is different from the other on top. Now we wanted to change the width of that particular box. Let's say the width is, let's say 300. Okay, so this is the width here is the distance from the first, and then from the left edge to the going to the right edge. So this is basically the distance occupied by box 2. This is 300px, but you can also use the percentage style. Let's say, for instance, your width is in percentage value, which is, let's say, 50%. So that's the 50% of the screen. So, or you can have it 100. So that means it occupies the entire space across the screen. So that's the width. Let's say we have this setting like 70% setting. That's the 70% setting. Now we wanted to have a padding. Again, the padding is the space from the text, between the text to the border. Let's say we wanted to have a we'll have in one sample we have this 10, and let's say we have 15 px. So that's a 15 px, and we wanted to have like a margin. Let's say the margin there is bigger than the other one, so that's the margin. It's 20. Let's say 25, because the other one is 20. So that's it. Okay, so we already have set the H2 tag, or the box 2. Okay, for the H3, for instance, our width is 300 px, and our padding is the top of the padding for the top is 10 px, and then this one is 4 px, and then so this is the 10 px. Sorry, this is the 10 px from the top. Again, I would like to emphasize that the padding starts, if you are going to write or specify the distance or the padding of the top, right, bottom, and left. The starting setting would be, as I mentioned earlier, that if you're going to write only one setting, that is applicable for the four sides of your screen. But if you wanted to have a different setting for each of the side, then you have to specify the pixel. So you should start from the top, followed by the right, and then left, and then bottom, and then next is the left. So therefore the top is 10 px, this is the 10 px, 4 px, right? But it's not obvious this already 4 px because our text here inside is it's just too short, so you cannot see the 4 px here at the right, and then the bottom is 50. Here is the 50, and the left is also 50. And the margin, just like the padding setting, if you are going to specify the setting for a different setting for each side, so therefore you have to write the specific setting of each side. So here you have the margin 50 px, still starting from the top, followed by the right, bottom, and left. And the background color is white. Border top, this one, the border top, you can specify whether it is a dashed and the color is black. And the border left is the 16 px, the thickness of the border, and the value is inset is somewhat like somewhat like that, it's like a 3D effect or something. And this here left, so 16 px, inset, and red. And border bottom, it's orange, but it's double, it's the 8 px thickness, and for the right is 16 px, inset, purple. So you can also change this one into like here, like dotted. You have dotted type of line here, so you can just, this is the dotted, it's too big, so you can just make it smaller. So you have 5 px, that's the 5 px setting for the dotted border, and it's purple. So just like it, guys, this is how Css Box Model looks like. And by the way, if you example, I wanted to emphasize also that, for instance, all this content are in paragraph, are all in the paragraph, then, and you have different CSS style rules applied, or style rules applied in each in a paragraph, and you wanted to have a different setting, then therefore you have to apply the CSS selectors, the ID selector and the class selector, to make it, or to put some to put difference, or like put different settings of each of the paragraph. And in addition to that, CSS Box Model will allow you to make the layouting easier, because it has already been, the settings have already been contained in a specific style. So you can just simply manipulate the positioning, and also the positioning, and whatever settings that you wanted to apply during the layouting of your page.